The link is in my bio, $8, 10 minutes, and we have that ready to go. So it is Thursday, November, where are we at? 13th. Okay, and then Ashton, when you're here, let me know so that I can see you. Hi, Charles, how are you? I hope you're doing well after your reading the other day. It was nice to channel Grammy for you. Oh my God. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Hi, Ashton. Let me know when you're all settled and ready and give me a thumbs up and we will start. I don't know if you saw, but I will send you a recording of your reading. We wanted to talk about, you wrote in yourself and finances, which will be a fun combination of things because one of your 3 channels has an interesting one. So Ashton, when you're ready to give me the thumbs up and we will get started here. So I know you're ready and settled. And then we'll continue. So you can see what I'm looking at. Yay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I send it to you. Hi, HD, bye-bye, Beer BI. Yeah, I send you a recording. So I make it super easy for you so that you don't have to worry about trying to absorb all of the information very quickly in a short period of time. I'm going to write the timestamp because I just batch record all of them together. So we're starting with you at the 1 minute and 30 second mark. So we're excited to do that. So when I'm reading for somebody and I'm kind of starting off just looking at their energy, I've been reading charts for 10 years. So like for you and your question, when you want to learn more about yourself and basically learn about finances, I look at a couple different aspects. So A, it's like what is calling me in your chart most obviously, and then B, like what are some areas that are actually directly tied to finances. So the one thing that I want to talk about first, so there's 2 things actually that I gravitated towards right away, was the fact that you have a lot of gate 38 Capricorn energy, Capricorn North Node, Uranus, and Neptune that are all in gate 38 in human design. Uranus and Neptune are what's it called, generational planets. So a lot of folks that are, hi Chelsea, also born around 1994 are also going to have this same placement. But what that is called in human design is known as the gate of the fighter. So that does indicate, because it's ruled by Capricorn, or Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, that you have had a lot of challenges up until this point in time in your life. So I just like to validate the fact that like life has not exactly been the easiest for you. And then we have a Virgo moon on top of it, which makes you really meticulous about like what you're doing and making sure that you connect with people in the right way and really wanting to care about your relationships, but also with this feeling of like, until you continuously grow, it's like your 30s and the connections you'll make in your 30s are authentic connections that most people, yeah, I'm sending you a hug, most people usually get when they're in their like teenage years. So it is kind of like aging like fine wine. Your relationships do get better over time, because you're using or getting in the habit of connecting with what I call your chosen family. So, you know, you may love your family of origin, you know, or the ones that birthed you to get here, but it could just be like you really need more authentic people who understand you at many different levels, and that's what we're kind of looking at. Now, what's also interesting, and happy belated birthday, is whenever I see gate 48 in human design, this is a gate or an astrological placement ruled by the Libra a zodiac sign, as you know, because you're a beautiful Libra sun and Mercury. This is one that can hold the fear, you're welcome, the fear or the gate of inadequacy. So it's like, am I adequate enough? Do I bring enough to the table? Thank you for the roses. Can I really allow myself to be seen in my full extent? And is it safe to be seen? Am I able to connect with other people and this feels safe? And you know, your channel of the alpha that you also have in your human design body graph does lead to you being, you know, it's safe to be seen. I do have what it takes. There are people, hi Megan, there are people who know 30% of what I do, and they're 3,000 times more confident in explaining it. And that just comes with knowing that, like, you know, at every different point in time for all of us, we look at ourselves and we're like, oh my God, like, do I know what I'm doing? Like, what direction I'm going in? And we all go through cycles of feeling more secure or insecure and just wanting more, like, to be more informed, getting more data about whatever it is that we need to do to pivot, which for you as a generator, pivots can be hard, especially because of your Leo Venus in gate 29 in human design. That's called the yes person gate. So essentially you have a lot of people that you're saying yes to that you really should be saying, you know what, let me take a second and like actually check in with my gut instinct. I love the sound of this, but like, let me just take a beat to kind of like turn around, consult with myself, and then, actually answer and make sure that my yeses are really intentional. Because you can be saying yes, especially as Libra energy, it wants the scales to be balanced. So it can get you into this habit of a lot of people pleasing and things along those lines that just kind of get us like mucked up and funked up in the wrong energy, even though your heart is in the right place. It's like really finding that trial and error. Chelsea knows a lot of my Libra placements here, liking the live. And I get a lot of beautiful Libra placements as well with synastry in my chart. But a lot of what I know that I meant to do for you guys is kind of help you alleviate any of that stress. Now, again, all of these things are great. Like when you are ready to commit yourself to someone or something, Ashton, you're like, I know what we're gonna do, no stone left unturned, like I'm here 100%, like I'm your hype person, like let's do this, I'm all in. So those are all beautiful traits and not things that you should shy away from, traits in your personality. You just want to make sure that you're connecting with people who are the right people for you. Your gate 59 moon, I should say, in Virgo in human design is in the 5th line. And this may sound like a lot of vocabulary, but essentially what this means is that you have this femme fatale energy to you, Casanova energy to you, where it's like very seductive. And so you do with that what you wish. Maybe yes, it is exactly. Maybe it's, this energy of being able to connect with, I don't know, like there's part of The Art of Seduction is a book by Robert Greene. I don't know if you've read of it already, read it, heard it anyway. But that's one that I would recommend for you just to kind of tap in with those roots, because historically it may not have also have felt safe for you to do that. And if you couldn't tell, I don't know if it's, I'm going to call you B, from 1B2. Oh, Blanca. Okay, Blanca, I'm Brenna. Nice to meet you officially. I'm a manifesting generator, so I used to be an art historian because, of my 19 different things that I've done throughout my lifetime. But, that's why I have that. It's a Botticelli fresco behind me. But I want to tap into that side more. I love that lack of confidence. Yes, I would look up any type of like, your Black Moon Lilith is in gate 33 in human design, which is Leo. So look up anything like homework I'll give you, and we're still there. We're not at the end yet. I still have a few minutes with you. But I want you to write down, or just when you have this recording, I'll send it to you tonight. Your Leo Chiron, and like, what does a femme fatale energy look like for a Leo Chiron? How can you feel comfortable taking up space? But gate 33 in human design is a little bit more private. Oh, I love that. Yes, that's so beautiful. Yeah, well, 1-3 sacral manifesting generator. So our 5-1-1-3 connect. I love that. So it's so perfect. Generator Libra I'm reading for as well. But yeah, look up what it means to like live in your kind of like healthy dark feminine. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, I highly recommend. You can also look at like condensed versions on YouTube as well. And start there just to kind of get more sense. It's less is more, and learning the art of seduction is also like, there's like the funny saying that's like, God gave us like 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Hi, Julia. So it's like kind of leaning into that and learning where you can get comfortable with comfortable silence. And that actually showcases your feminine power more than feeling like you have to rush to get acceptance or anything along those lines. Like you're inherently worthy. Hi, Social. Hi, Tara. And knowing that is important. Now, it's also really cool, and what I like to look at, because there's a couple, thank you so much, gorgeous. There's a couple channels that I like to focus on. Hi, Sony, welcome. Thank you for the follow. That one of them that has to, it's called the Channel of Transformation, but it's a money channel. So there's a few channels. There's one literally called the Channel of Money and Human Design. But whenever I see this channel, it tells me that when you refine a specific skill set and get comfortable becoming known for one thing, you actually grow out of the economic class that you were born into. So I want to read this to you. This is from the definitive book of human design. I have it linked on my profile in case you'd like to buy it for anybody that's interested, Blanca as well. Gilbert, I can't. I'm sorry. Lo siento. Do you speak another language? I usually have my bilingual folks in the audience who like to ask me to slow down, but I'll forget what I'm saying. I'm actually speaking a little bit slower for myself. But beautiful Ashton, just to read this to you so you understand this channel and this Libra quality. This comes specifically from your Mars placement. Is rooted and grounded in the community dedication to service and self-sacrifice. Your transformation is best defined here in a community context. I'm ad-libbing the word tribal for community. because it's more helpful just for where you're at and learning your human design. So communal support begins when your talents are recognized and your efforts are encouraged through what is reflected back to you by those you have helped to fulfill their ambitions or attain enlightenment. So yeah, sorry, Gilbert. But basically when we're looking at that, right, a big way for you to start to understand is to get comfortable just becoming known for one thing. And that doesn't mean that because in your disposition is like, but I want to try everything. And I just made a Generator 101 video that I'll also send to you, which will be helpful. It's a free little 101 video that I made, like 20 minutes on YouTube, but to ground in your generatorness. But I want to give you the things that are outside of that video now. So that's an add-on. But essentially thinking back, what are the things that people have historically praised you for, that they asked you to do for them or complimented you on, that they really admired in you? And how can you start to make sure that you are now creating a product or a service that allows you to get compensated for that? For example, I have a lot of people that are text me 3 a.m. questions via my DMs, but I don't have when I go in with somebody, like I am locked in and I am there. I'm feeling the energy, whether you're in, Massachusetts or you are across the world in Australia. I am locked in. So I now use a platform called Pop Call where it's $1 a message. I feel like I'm respected. You're getting the care that you need, and it's simple and affordable for everybody. So that's just a small way where people love me giving advice to them. That's why we're here tonight. That's why you booked this session with me. And it's natural for me to do that. But I also am aware that when I don't get compensated for my energy or set that boundary, how am I going to help other people get paid to do what they love if I don't do the same thing for myself, even in a small way? So those things are really important to flex that muscle of saying, I deserve to get compensated for that. And I'm so glad that you all appreciate it within me, but I need to be able to tell people or teach people how to treat me. That's been a big theme that's been coming up for a lot of people. So paying attention to that and just kind of thinking back as to where, okay, love that. That makes me happy. Hi, Nini. That makes me happy. Money is energy. Exactly. It's just a matter of there's abundance for everybody, but how can you funnel it in a way that allows you to feel like you're taken care of at the end of the day? Because historically for your placements, it's like you've had to fight for people to see inherently, not to no fault of your own, that you were worthy of being treated in that way and getting financially compensated, or at least some sort of reciprocity, to keep your scales balanced too. So Gilbert, so that they're not too far, allocated or downtrodden heavily in one direction or the other. Your reward for loyalty and dedication to your community comes through each promotion to the next level. You willingly work harder than anyone else to prove your worth or value, even to the point of becoming a workaholic. It's really easy for generators and manifesting generators to phone things in, to just be like, this is what I have to do. I'm doing this because I should, things along those lines. So just pay attention as well. And I mentioned this a little bit in that other generator video that I'll send you. Looking out for where you feel like you are doing things because you should versus doing things because you actually enjoy doing them. So I'll leave you with that. It's a lot of information, but I'm glad you already have a little bit of an idea so that you're able to, pour forth or go forth in that direction to feel grounded. So again, I'll send you a link to the recording tonight. I recorded this, and when you get the recording, it's to my Tube of You channel, so you'll see your chart there, and then my little face is blocking all of your private information on the right-hand side, so nobody can see that. Hi, Ashley, welcome. So you have that ready to go. So thank you for letting me read for you, and I'm excited for you. It's such a great time, such a great reading to be able to ground ending this year and then going into 2026. So a great way for you to get compensated doing the things that you love. So yeah, thank you, Ashton. Yeah, it also keeps your clients grounded and they understand that you value their time. Yeah, exactly. So for me specifically, for a lot of how I use human design as well. Oh yeah, sounds great. Thank you, Ashton. Is teaching people how to get paid. So for my manifesting generator lore, for those of you who don't know, is that I used to work in arts and music management in New York City. I graduated from school with a degree in art history, didn't want to be in a library all day. So a lot of what my background has been is teaching people how to promote themselves. So I also get a lot of projectors or undefined throat folks, but to be able to market themselves to help. And essentially I got bored with it. I did find human design when I was 22, but I was like, it's the right idea, but now it's starting to feel like the wrong execution. I didn't like going to New York anymore. Post-COVID, the entire industry and arts and music management look so different, even though I did some things in overlap prior, after. So now, for the last, it was like 4 years before I started charging anybody. And then really like the last like 4 to 6 years, hi Jules, how are you? The last 4 to 6 years doing this full time. So this is my full-time profession. So I always say that, especially for my folks that ask me about any type of money or time management. Hi, strong woman, welcome. Another strong woman entered the villa. Those types of things are really important. So again, if anyone else wants to sign up for a reading, I should have about 6 or 7 spots left for tonight. And then I'll be on again next week. But $8, 10 minutes link is in my bio, so I can go ahead and email you that at the end as well. Yeah, I'm 54, but I got my first reading when I was 21. Life-changing. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what I said a lot too, Blanca, is that anyone that I see that has a 5 in their profile for my reading specifically who come to me, I notice often that they have some sort of like witchy lineage, or it's a fear. Thank you, Mark. A fear of almost like a not knowing where that anxiety comes from so intensely for speaking up for what you believe in and taking up space in the industry that you want to go into. So like human design, for example. I don't know how many years you've been doing this professionally since we just met tonight, but technically since you're 21, right? In a lot of ways when you go ahead and apply it. But whenever I see somebody that has a 5 in their profile, usually that says to me in some capacity that it's like Salem witch trial energy or very witchy lineage, where it's like you were X'd in a past life for doing something, that you weren't allowed to do safely. So if you click the link in my bio, Blanca, it's brennakeely.com/links. It's the third little rectangle down. It says TikTok live mini reading sign up, and you can fill out your info, give it a second to process because Mercury retrograde, and then I will see your notification come through. So short, sweet, to the point. Yeah, social. I know, all my 5s. I'm like, where are my 5 lines at? Yeah, exactly, Nini. It's so real. It's like, because what happens really with the 5 line is that it's a projection. It's called the line of the heretic. So if you're familiar like with the Christmas song, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Glory to the Newborn King, the heralds, or the clarion, is the trumpet that like the heralding angels would announce, or a heretic is like somebody who's announcing something that is going to naturally ruffle feathers for other people. And there's always going to be people that are, you being you is just going to make them uncomfortable for no damn good reason. So it's like getting comfortable with that, knowing that that's just kind of part of the process, is like, oh, this is actually kind of laughable. And today I filmed my energy of the week ahead, so the do's and don'ts, that'll go out on Sunday. And I filmed it today because I have an in-person event tomorrow. I'm doing intuitive astrology, human design readings tomorrow at a local boutique in New Jersey. And I was saying how like it's been a lot of that energy within the week ahead. So we're noticing that really for the month of November, but just getting comfortable with like looking at someone that comes at you sideways and just laughing, because it's like that's more embarrassing for you guys than it is for me. For you to come like in that way, or we see it all the time, especially for any of us that have any kind of businesses online or do live streaming. Like I feel very blessed with my corner of the internet that I really don't get much of that at all. But there's always times and places for that, or people who don't understand. And it's like, okay, one of the things I think that I said, I know I said it somewhere recently, but it's like, oh, allow me to reintroduce myself, or allow me to introduce myself to you so I could teach you how to treat me, because this is embarrassing for you that you don't know what we're talking about here. And, a lot of people react. Anyone who's coming at you sideways like that, especially as a line 5 person, is just, there's some sort of discomfort or insecurity really within them to be able to not understand, like, oh, like you may not take me seriously in this moment, but I take me seriously, and we can fix that. Hi, Bella. How are you? How are you? Tina, it's nice to see you. Yeah, I'm the problem. No, seriously, I always feel bad when people think them being weird would make me believe that I'm the problem. I know. Hi, playful but deadly. I love that. Good night, Lua. Hello and goodbye. Yeah, it was funny because I went to an event that I got asked to do a talk at on Sunday, and it was the first annual, and I'm really, hi, oh my god, hello, it's so good to see you. How are you? Oh my god, I have to send you a message. Oh, I met Alexa at the spa that I used to work at. So she's seen me through many different iterations of myself, but it's so good to see you. Hello, hello. In true manifesting generator fashion. Thank you. And likewise. What was I going to say? Oh, but I hesitate from doing like any locations that it's their first. Yeah, I know, right, girl? You should. Absolutely. We've been through 800 different iterations of ourselves, which is crazy because that was already, oh my God, a while ago. I have to do the math. Because that was my little stint in between moving out of my apartment before we bought our house. So that's so funny. I love that in true manifesting generator lore. But I usually hesitate because there's so many like kinks that have to be worked out when you're doing your first event or someone's doing their first event. So for me, like I've been doing events for a long time. I know, if not more, like 4 years maybe. Yeah, definitely more than 2 because we'll be in our house for 3. So it was before that, which is crazy. But I have to go back and look at my my photos is how I know. But yes, I'll be live until about 9 o'clock tonight. So about another hour and 10 minutes or so. But yeah, Tina, thank you. But yeah, so it was funny because I had walked in and I got there, with enough time, about like 20 minutes before. Sounds good. About 20 minutes before we were scheduled to go live and the first speaker was going to go in, and it was the first day of Mercury retrograde, technically, later that evening, and it was like pouring rain. It hasn't rained here in forever, and I knew the feeling, like once you start to tap in psychically, you can kind of get a sense of the feeling of the location. And one of the things I'm big on is that like it was like $10 for a vendor table, which already was like, if you're doing things for the first time, you shouldn't automatically start by charging. So the 2 owners that set up the event were a little upset because they basically had this giant rectangle of a room and then one treatment room that was like where there's the sauna. And so everyone there had paid $10 for a table to be in the main room, and they were trying to figure out how to get somebody to go in the treatment room where they're kind of like sequestered, I don't know if that's the right word, pushed off to the side where no one would really see them. So they were upset that no one was understanding why they were upset. Hi, Hop. Hi, Jane. Welcome. And being put in this treatment room because no one was going to go back there and find them anyway. And I've just done so many events for so long that it's like you just kind of know that's like an unspoken rule that's important to know, but we don't know if we don't have any data to respond to. So those are the types of things where, they were like, oh, we figured since you're doing readings, you could go in the treatment room. And I was like, no, thank you. I'd rather be out here with everybody else. My table isn't that big. I could go in the back in this area. So, there wasn't any kind of sort of friction or meltdown that had to happen, but for other folks that aren't used to being able to stick up for themselves without it immediately getting into a confrontation, don't have that initial reaction of being like, oh, look, I actually have an opportunity to workshop this with you versus feeling like, oh, I'm pushed in the back. So I'd asked that, I forget where, but one of the videos that I made recently, if somebody wanted me to do, or anyone in my Patreon community wanted me to do a like to vend or not to vend, and how to advocate for yourself if you do a booth in any location, because those are important things that like you're already nervous, especially if you're doing it for the first time and you don't know like who's going to be there, what's going to happen. So, important ways you can advocate for yourself without feeling like there's something wrong with you for asking for what you know that you want. And then it worked out where no one was even in that room anyway. So all of those arguments could have been avoided regardless if people relaxed and knew the energy of the day. That's why I love to do them each day, and being able to look at like, how do I know that people are going to act? Where can we just kind of laugh at it and dismiss it and move forward so that, no one feels like they're caught with their pants down energetically. It just feels like they're caught in an off. It's funny actually, because there was a lady who went to use the bathroom and I turned the corner and she's just going to the bathroom with the door wide open. And I was like, okay. But like, those are the types of things that like, I'm so, like non-judgmental in that way. Thank you, Sam. I know, I will see, it's the energetics of I knew where I was going to be when I walked in. So it's like, I just have to go through the human thing when I ultimately know intuitively where I'm going to end up being. So it's like, they don't know that, but it was funny. Like, I think in those regards too, like the owner does different kinds of sound healings and things along those lines. And, I had to make 3 trips in the pouring rain back and forth because, you know, of it being rainy, and that's how the parking lot was set up. And she was trying to talk to me in the middle of, you know, me pulling in all my stuff, and I had my bronzer on, so it was raining, and I looked like I had like a crown of thorns, which is an interesting information in and of itself. And I was like, oh, hold on 1 second. And she was like, oh, I didn't expect you. And I was like, oh, it's just a lot of energy, you know, as I'm coming in and into a new place and a new environment. So just give me a moment. And I was thinking how funny it is that, like, even in spiritual spaces, we still have to remind our fellow spiritual counterparts that, like, this is what this looks like in real time. My spirituality, my empathy, my psychic intuitiveness isn't something that I can fully just shut off, and as I'm going towards knowing that I'm doing readings, it's like where I'm opening that gateway even more. You know, certainly I tell spirit that I have office hours, and I don't like to always have like that door open 24/7, but like that's what those intuitive senses you know, come to. So it's those kinds of things. Where do you usually have a table, fairs or events? So they're kind of two in the same. It's both. So like if there's a fair, it depends on what kind of fair. Like I usually will only do things under the umbrella of like a psychic intuitive wellness fair. Hi Nando, welcome from Columbia. But I do my own human design events as well. So tomorrow, I got asked by, I waited to respond. I got asked by a local botanica in New Jersey. They reached out to me on Instagram to do a couple events. So I did one with them in September. September? Yeah, it wasn't August. It was September. And then I'm back tomorrow night from 5 to 8 to do, oh, I love that. Yeah, it's in South Orange, to do another event as well. So, and then I'm, you know, a couple other people that I've just met over the course of my life and being in the spiritual space that will ask me to go to different things. So, and it depends, right? Like, I don't know how much you've done like shows or anything like that as well. But it's also helpful to just kind of like make friends with your local, you know, spaces. Hi, Nika. Welcome. See. But yeah, what county are you in, Blanca? But yeah, it could be both. Like it was a fair, a holistic wellness fair was where I was on Sundays. Oh yeah, okay, so you're not far at all. That's so funny because one of the owners was from, and I'm just gonna put your chart in as we're talking. I see you here for 810, but yeah, I know Wayne very well, but I don't know, like I haven't been there to do any events. But if you're free tomorrow and you want to make the trip to South Orange, feel free. We'll be there from 5 to 8. For me, not necessarily, Chelsea. I find that because I've been reading people for so long, it's a little bit easier for me. It's easy either way. I don't find it hard. Like when I'm tapped in, I'm just like, ooh, blinders on for who I'm talking to. But if it's a matter of like, in person sometimes can be annoying if like you are at like, say, a couple times where you have like some sort of event where there's a lot of people and people don't have like good boundaries and they're there with like during a happy hour and there's a glass of wine in their hand and they're like, oh my God, I love what you do. And there's a little bit of induced personalities, like those types of things. It's just a matter of like having to reaffirm like spiritual boundaries and, you know, allowing yourself to set the tone that way. But I find that for me, I could do it either side, which I can appreciate. But that again took time and being like, okay, depending on the environment, you'll get that. Yeah, hey, there's no harm, no foul, Blanco. We have to pay our bills, you know? So it's a matter of what do you need to do in a way that works for you. And happy belated birthday to you as well. You know, for me, it's like with the time that it worked out in my life, I was able to leave corporate life a little bit early, but I worked in insurance, you know, and fought my way through in that way to be able to say, hey, let me find a way for my nervous system to know that I can actually make money doing this thing and find the right way to do it. And then, you know, especially when I brought my business more so online, I'm a 1-3, so the one in us really likes the introverted aspects of our craft when we can bring ourselves online. So, you know, just being able to have that awareness, I think, is very helpful too, which we'll talk about in 10 minutes. I just want to make sure that someone may book for 8 o'clock. I'll give it like 3 minutes. But I can start you a little bit early if you'd like. Yeah, that's great. Oh, yay. I use my HG to find exactly where I belong. I love that. I love that. Yes, that's fair. I know I'm like, I have Scorpio, a lot of Scorpio. So I always say I'm like the fairy woman being able to bring people to the other side. So I'm so used to going into that direction. But that's great. I feel like, it's funny whenever people say like in the Matrix, it's like, well, that's kind of what we signed up for when we incarnated here. So just being able to ground in our awareness of like we're still humans and we're allowed to be human beings that like experiment things on the human plane, that's important too, I think. So there's, again, even more for me, thank you, Johnny, it makes even more relatable to people if you do want to do fairs or psychic fairs. Oh yay, Tina, sounds good. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, I've done corporate consulting. I actually read for a group of lawyers this time last year, which is really interesting. And funny to see, like, they didn't even really have, a lot of them had defined roots and defined ego centers, all but like one who technically was like a paralegal that was like their front desk, which made a lot of sense. So like you have to have the ability to argue, the ability to argue and not cry, which takes some time too. And being able to have that, which is funny. Yes, myself as well. They're my biggest group. I feel like because you have two of your channels. Do you kind of mirror, does that have the projector channel? I think like me, we have a couple projected channels as well. Do you have a generated channel? No, pretty much all, generators. But an undefined throat too. But it's nice because you could start to see like where people feel like they can ground a lot of it. Oh, technology. Yeah, that's so real. Well, and a system too, which is amazing. Like just them being able to have a system that they can say, this is like what I am. This is a system that I find comfort in. So helpful for a projector to understand it inside out, backwards, forwards, communicate about it. It makes a lot of sense. So I love that. Also with your Gate 61 North Node too. But I'll start in 3 minutes. So we have that. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. But let me know if they're in the 3 minutes before I pivot over to Blanca, if anyone has any questions with Blanca, and then Tina's after Blanca. And I should have like 3 spots, maybe 4 open, before I close for the rest of the evening if anyone else wants to sign up in the interim. Then if you're part of my Patreon, remember you guys get a complimentary reading, so you have that too. Yeah, Tina. So for those of you who don't know, I also have a Patreon where you can choose your energy type, and for $22 a month, you do a full moon and new moon circle with me. I do trainings at the beginning of every month. What else do I have? Training specific for your energy type. I'm going to be doing an astrological human design advent calendar, so you'll have a new tip a day for the month of December, which I'm excited for. That was something that I just kind of channeled as something fun to do for you guys that are there already, and then a complimentary reading once a month for my repeat guests. So I love that. Oh, I don't know what that means, Rain Man. That's out of my hi Manny. That's out of my jurisdiction. I know a lot of rituals, but I don't know all of them. That as with a name like Rain Man, it sounds like you would be more well versed in that area than me. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to just see like how the different ways or different methodologies. I actually got a text from somebody from the pop call platform that I was mentioning that I used earlier. And they were like, I got fired and hired on the 1010 portal and the 1111 portal. Like, what does this mean from an astrological perspective? And that's where like all of the lines start to blur together. Because there are a lot of people that really don't know numerology that just hop on the portal hype because it gets them views. So unless you really know numerology, it doesn't really make sense. Like it's a tactic, it's a social media tactic, but it doesn't really correlate to astrology directly with the portals per se. They're called portals just kind of as like a fancy astrological buzzword, and it's like that because the numbers match, but nothing directly tied to astrology. Although you can look at the astrology today to see how it could like serendipitously have impacted your chart, but it's also interesting to know. But with that note, I'm gonna pin, yeah, absolutely, Blanca. I mean, listen, like I have been studying for 10 years now, and you can always learn more. I really read as an intuitive, where we're also looking at I'm looking at your chart from an intuitive lens. So like, what is the whole kind of picture that we're getting? So essentially a couple things that I always like to look at, and just to validate that I find because of the beautiful folks that I get to read for every single day, is a gate 28 and gate 5 that you also have, like I do in our human design body graph. So to me, even more importantly, when I'm reading for somebody like you who has different elements like that, or those two gates specifically, they're going to feel a little bit more important, just like if somebody had their solar plexus defined. When a solar plexus is defined in your human design body graph, it takes precedence over everything. Like that's the first center, regardless of the energy type, that you want to be focusing on first. Hi, Waywards. Now, when you have gate 5, for example, this is a Sagittarius gate placement. Every gate placement in human design correlates to a different 5-degree window of an astrological placement that you have in your Western birth chart. So I have a whole gate series that I'm doing over on my Tube of You, and that teaches the correlation and the degrees. So that gate 5 specifically for you, Blanca, comes from your gate 5 moon in human design. That tells me that you, like me, have very specific rhythms and rituals that ground you throughout your day. Now, you also have an undefined throat, which with being a Libra, I'm not as concerned about you having an undefined throat, but just reminding yourself that like you will be seen, you will be heard, you will be acknowledged, and making friends with having an undefined throat will help you to not speak too much about anything. And like that's kind of what I said earlier about like we have 2 ears and one mouth for a reason, like just to kind of slow down a little bit and paying attention to timing. You also have a gate 28 Mercury, which we'll talk about in a moment, but that will help you to preserve more energy rather than burn it out, right? And that's like to say, like, if you feel like, you know, you really want to get recognized for something, it's refining and figuring out how to have a really good pitch or an elevator pitch or a script that you use, especially if you want to say do events or fairs in person for human design. You know, it's like really figuring out how to keep your readings. Like that's where timing really is important, where you're like, I have 10 minutes, there's a certain amount of people that are going to be waiting for me. So, you know, or you can decide the opposite. If you want a little bit more time and you want to take 20 minutes, that's something, those are the kinds of things that you can start to flesh out. But for a lot of folks, like you say with projectors, gate 5 and projectors work really well together because gate 5 people are all about systems and structures. Thank you, Tina. Systems and structures that keep them grounded and feeling really comfortable. What I say too for folks like ourselves who have gate 5 is that you want to focus on your life in terms of like quarters of the year. So every, you know, spring, summer, that's great. Congratulations. Spring, summer, fall, winter, winter, fall, summer, spring. You want to focus on what are kind of the major themes for those 3 months. And it may be that like these last 3 months, you know, from now until or October to December are exactly what you said. We were like, hi, Maple, I am prepping to move up within the company that you've been at. So you find that is like that's the next step, and that is going to be the dial that turns up to 100% right now in the best way. Hi, beautiful. Hi, Carmen. Welcome. For noticing that. Now, what also comes into play is a couple other things that'll be some key indicators. Gate 28, as I mentioned in human design, is the gate of the game player. It's the fear of running out of time. This is what can make you either 10 minutes early, 10 minutes late. I have a feeling that you probably err on the earlier side, especially being in corporate life, although there's times where, you know, time can escape you. You have a very specific way with time that allows you to kind of think about like, this is actually what I need my timing to look like on Blanca time. What does my ideal schedule look like? And maybe it is that you really do enjoy a 9-to-5 structure and that works really well for you and your body is in that flow, and that's been amazing, and needing to feel like you have some autonomy within that. It's interesting because your chart has a balance of authority appreciating you but also having issues with authority, and maybe you're like, thank God my age finally matches like who I am and what I want to do and what that looks like, you know, where people actually respect me, where like you probably in some regards have felt the same for many years, but it just took some time for people to be able to appreciate you in that way. You know, especially having a Virgo Venus in gate 40 in human design, it's feeling alone even when you're within a group of people. So it's really allowing yourself to see like, I'm supposed to maintain that autonomy. Hi, Guy. Thank you. I just saw your booking come through. Maintain that autonomy and separateness because that helps preserve your enmeshment. Yeah, I have a really flexible work special. Oh, that's amazing. Teams in China. Oh, yeah, incredible. So that allows you to kind of bounce around in a beautiful way too, which I really like. A lot of it too is because when I talk about no stone being left unturned, and I'll also send you my generator 101 video too. Hi, Guy. Oh, yes, Guy. Okay, that guy. The guy. The guy whose name is Guy. Thank you. It's nice to see you. But I see you for 8:30 my time. But for you, Blanca, in the last couple minutes that we have together, Gate 46 is a very somatic channel. It's a very late degree Virgo, very early degree 0 to 2 degrees of Libra placement where your body really does keep score. So paying attention to your energy levels, your physical well-being. Gate 29 is the yes man gate placement. It's you want to say yes to everything. You want to leave no stone left unturned in life, but that's also what can create like getting involved too fast, too furious, too soon. Ashton had the same gate placement that I just read for. So noticing that too can cause like just a bodily awareness of like your somatic body, especially as a sacral authority, is really everything. And it's one of the 3 gates that you have in your sacral center at the bottom there. So those big 3 gate placements are super important to getting, connected with where you're at. And what I love is like for your energy, it doesn't really feel like you have too many problems with speaking out of turn or connecting out of turn, but because probably very helpfully so, being in your corporate structure, because your gate 51 is gate of Aries, gate of shock, in your undefined heart center, is also like feeling like you have to say things to get people to like pay attention to you. And you may have like fun little quips that you add into any kind of trainings that you do for people or being able to ground in that sort of way. But like, it's not as, it's not attention seeking behavior in a negative way. Like it may have been historically when you were a little bit younger, maybe the people that raised you weren't able to pay attention to you in that way. Are you first generation American as well? I'm curious about that too. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do my energy of the days for as well, for the transits of the day, which is great. So you can notice like what that kind of looks like. But there is this frequency of like, you want appreciation, you do want power. It's normal for you to get that. It's just a matter of like, noticing that as a pure generator. Yes, eldest daughter. Yeah, I can feel that in your energy for sure. I attract a lot of first generation as well. My husband's an immigrant to this country, actually. He's Cuban. So I get throughout all of my boyfriends have either, with the exception of one, have either been first generation or immigrants to this country, which is funny. Makes sense with my chart. But all that to say too is like, you know, the having to say things and yell and shock value and are you listening to me, it's like really probably could have taken a toll. Oh, there you go. Yes, it's amazing. That's so funny. A lot of chemistry. That I can't see in a chart. That's just my psychicness, Chelsea. Hi, Anna. So that is just something that I kind of know to be true based on some things that I pick up on intuitively, but it's hit or miss sometimes with where we can find it in a human design chart, but just knowing my people and the way that it kind of represents itself, we just pick up on the energy. Yeah, a lot with what I also want to say too for you, and you probably know this looking at your gate 34 Neptune. Hi, gorgeous. I just saw your booking come through. Your gate 34 Neptune is that we have that transit that's going to be happening as well. Where we have it a little bit for our Mercury placement. I wrote it down here. When does it fully start? On the 21st, I believe. Yeah, our sun gate shifts to gate 34 on Friday, November 21st. So that's going to create a little bit of magnetism around like the illusions. Maybe if that, I wonder if you also looking to do a promo, your promotion at work at that time or promo for anything. That's also a good way to be like, what am I selling? You know, if you want to, you know, pivot back to looking at an open application that a local botanical store or Botanica has for events, like that kind of would be the time to do that. To put some stake, you know, in the ground if that's something that's of interest to you. I also feel like you would really like, it's farther south for you, but Bellworks in Homedale, New Jersey. That's where they filmed the show Severance. But they do, I was asked to do this like, I think it was like 5 years ago now. No, 3 to 5 years ago, I had a table at Headstands for Hunger, which was an event down there, a yoga event where I was a human design reader. Now they charge like a lot of money for it. So it's like, unless you're charging like $50 a person for a 15-minute reading, you know, which doesn't really match the venue. It's a little expensive, but that kind of vibe, even like corporate consulting, like I do as well, like you will probably like doing that more so. And that's also like higher dollar abilities, you know, for companies that have a little bit more money to ground in that energy if they're a little bit more of a progressive company. So just some more things that I can help you ground in your design. I always say it's like a lot of information. It's helpful because you're also a fellow reader. But I'll send you the recording and then a link to the Generator 101 video so that you can, you know, start to dive in a little bit of a different way in the way that I like to talk about human design. So I will leave you with that, but thank you for letting me read for you. And I love that you're a fellow New Jerseyan too. So I will be in South Orange at the Botanical Boutique. It's 70 Taylor Place in South Orange tomorrow. So you can see that on my Insta as well. And then I have beautiful Tina coming up next. Tina, do you want me to start you a little bit early? Hi, Orion. You're so welcome. Hi, Jessica. If you're here, I can start a little bit early. And then we'll go from there. We actually, so maybe I talked about this with Rose, but we did have this conversation. Okay, perfect, Tina. Because I did remember that, because you guys weren't far, and then I was talking about, I think we had talked about the ferry going back and forth, because there's a ferry from Cape May that goes there as well. Yes, it did come through, let me see. And you can. In regards to Chelsea's question about ideal partner, it's like basically like, what are you willing to tolerate in a relationship? What feels comfortable? So let me bring up Tina's chart here. Or Insta. So love and family. It's so funny, Tina, because I feel like, I don't remember if this came for you the last time, but like, life's what we make it, so let's, good night, thank you, Blanca, nice to meet you. Life's what we make it, so let's make it rock is kind of the vibe that I get for you, where it's like, I always just go back to like, you just have had to be so fucking tough and like that in your life, like HBIC, that it just seems like in terms of love, family, it's interesting because I also wonder, like, is there some sort of weird, like, triangle here where, like, hi, Monique, like, you live in a small town that's the size of a sesame seed, and, like, because you're with, like, a prominent figure in your area, like, will people be mad that you're dating somebody that's a police officer, or like, is he an officer or captain? Forgive, I don't remember his exact title, but I know he's like pretty high up there. Like, if there's some sort of weird like friction that it will cause, and you're just kind of like, whatever, yeah. Is it his family or like stepkids, like learning how to like live together, and like what that kind of looks like, also because of Nick, like, with okay, interesting. Yeah, does he have 2 daughters, or like, does he, because I automatically feel like there's a lot of feminine energy around him. It feels like 2, like they feel young, but maybe just the X is immature is how it's coming through. I'm trying to understand like the visual of what I'm getting. Blonde. I know you're also blonde, but that also is kind of interesting. It's like catty for no reason, and you're like, fuck, like what else is new? It's like kind of just annoying. Like, I feel like at this point it's like nothing, you've been through so much that nothing's, too older. Okay, yeah. Like nothing surprises you, but you're like, I still have to deal with this shit. And it's like, okay, like how can it roll off my back? I just have to move forward. Like, what does that look like? I'm done. Like, I'm just done with it. I think honestly, yeah, it's like it's his mess to clean up. Like, you're both grown adults with grown lives and things that you have to worry about that are way past your priority, that like, you know, he's an officer. Like, if he can't handle that, you know, like with the stuff that he also deals with on a day-to-day basis, like that's also intel. But I don't feel like that. Marielle, oh yes, I'm just reading for Tina right now, and then I can answer some questions in between. Yeah, I don't feel like it is, but I think it's just a matter of like being aware of the situation for what it is, you know, like you're just like, okay, you're welcome, beautiful. This is what I know to be true. I don't like it, but does this actually, like, at what point is it actually infringing on your life? And at the end of the day, like, you are allowed to be able to show up and have a relationship and be proud of the person that you're with and be able to express that in whatever way feels comfortable. Like, you know, do you need to you don't strike me, and neither does he, as a person that even maybe not has Facebook, but like, do I need to go and feel like I have to like make it that we're in a relationship right away? It's like, does that actually matter, you know, at the end of the day, you know, and finding that. Yeah, I think it's like understanding what you truly value. Tomorrow actually and into Monday would be a good day to just, like prioritize, hey Myra, what your true values are to the relationship. And if you prioritize privacy as both a shared common value, you know, discussing and just having the honest conversation about what it means to go public in whatever capacity that looks like, even as private people. It's like just being able to be, you know, you have this energy of like unfuckwithable, which is what's, you know, it's funny because the word I want to say is intoxicating specifically. So I also wonder if some of the ex's personality is induced, and that's why there was also a bit of a split. What's that show that just came out on Netflix with Brittany Snow and they're in the South? The Hunting Wives? It feels a little bit like that. Like there's just some, it's like, oh, I'm just a wine mom. It's like, no, you're a glorified alcoholic is what we could just call a spade a spade. Like, it feels a little bit like that kind of energy. Even if like on the outside it looks like we're so like have it all together, but it's interesting to see like then when she divorced, if she kind of went, you know, or they split in whatever capacity, if they weren't married, like it went downhill. But I'm not nervous about it not being fine for you. I think it's just annoying. It's just like a fly, like go away. If you want to be annoying, it's a non-issue. When I was first dating my husband, there was a girl that after we've been together for a year that they hadn't seen in forever, and they basically called her a nickname that was like ghoster, you know, of that capacity, and she got all bent out of shape because she had not requested to follow me on Instagram, but found me and DM'd me and was like, hey, like, I don't know if you know this, but Manny and I used to be, you know, best friends, and he hasn't talked to me in a while. And I was like, yeah, I know, like, we're dating, like, we've been together for a year, like, I'm aware. I asked for him to make it that way because, like, that intensity of a female friendship is weird, especially when we get older as adults. And, you know, she left me on red, and it was, like, a lot of projections, but that didn't taint my relationship because I know that I'm dealing with crazy. So it's like, if you know that you're dealing with that kind of behavior, it's like, what effect, like, it's an annoyance, but it really at the core of your relationship is like, does this actually matter, you know? And I think just like having a safe space to say like, hey, for me here as a married woman sitting in front of you, I've also dealt with crazy, and it's like, it really actually brings you stronger, because the more that you learn to laugh at it, the better it becomes. And I had I don't follow them, but I'll get random like interviews that will come up from different celebrities and stuff like that. And I heard an interview between Bunny and Chanel, or Coco, who is Ice-T's wife, and Bunny is married to one of the country singers that's like a heavyset guy that lost a lot of weight. And she was saying how when they first got married, he was like, listen, like, I am out there slaying dragons all day long. I don't need to come home. Yeah, right. I don't need to come home and slay dragons with you too at the end of the day. And that, like, just knowing that you are each other's safe space to have fun together, and that I think that a lot of this is also the love that you know that you deserve, and having a lot of levity for the shit that you've both gone through, Tina. It's like, you're allowed to keep it lighter just because you have had to, and still in a lot of ways have to be on the defensive for what you've been through in the past, doesn't mean that you have to project it inward to your home. It's just like, it does. Is this person, oh, I love that. Yes, congratulations, that's amazing. If this person isn't kicking down your door, you know, or showing up blasted to your house, like, it's really it's like just making it a non-issue. I don't say like it's a non-issue because it doesn't diminish like still the level of the intensity of an annoyance. And especially with like Scorpio season and Venus and Scorpio, it's like we feel that like, you know, you fucked with the wrong one on the right day. Like it's that's in your frequency already, which is ironically what makes people want to antagonize you more, because they want to make you like, it's like misery loves company. They want to drag, hi Afro, they want to drag you down and make them down and dirty with them. And it's like, it's like laughing it off. Like it really, we're growing out of having to have the tit for tat, unless you're getting paid for it on reality television, and that's where what you want to be known for on reality TV. Like, does that confrontation actually serve any real purpose in anything happening? Because it just feels like, hi Healing Plug, I just thought congratulations on your book. It doesn't really serve any purpose. Like, I don't get paid to deal with the drama. So like, why am I going to invite it into my home? Or unless I'm going to use it as a teaching lesson, or it somehow transmutes into, you know, energy in my life and dollars in my pocket. And you can say that as, I just actually wrote that to Healing Plug as well, who has a beautiful book about healing for melanated parents. So Afro, you also joined at the same time. So for those of you that have dealt with melanated parents too, that's also a good connection. But I was saying that, yeah, absolutely. It's come up a lot of like just being able to advocate for yourself and knowing that like the more that you tap into the frequency of accepting the love that you know that you deserve, and you're divinely protected, you're physically protected, you have a man that loves you, you're on a vacation, it pushes out magnetism. And what that does, it's like a bug light. It can attract the butterflies that are beautiful, or it also can attract, you know, the mosquitoes that bite us. And like, okay, I know you're a mosquito that serves its purpose in the animal kingdom for whatever reason, but you're still annoying me. So it's like that we have to figure out like, what do we do with our light to full circle to what I said earlier in the last, you know, 30 seconds or so that I have you, is teaching people how to treat us. And you can do that by summary of the notes, like not letting people drag you into their drama. It's embarrassing to be somebody that's their middle age and has not gotten over a relationship. Like, there are so many resources out there that it's like that's embarrassing. And it's sad for them that they're so stuck in that they can't see past, you know, their ability to get out of their own way, or be a, you know, just now becoming a victim, because it's easier to, I say like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So for a lot of people, their stories of suffering are what feels safer, because they can either make themselves a professional victim and they get the fawning, and then it's just a cycle of more people who fawn over them, and then they stop, and then when people stop fawning because they know that they're actually part of the problem, they repeat the same cycle. It's like, you know, if that's where you want to get your attention, congratulations, but like, I want to be known for other things, like my brain and what I provide and how I make people feel good to my children, my relationship, like, be, you know, lead by example. It's like laugh and like the break the wrist and walk away, like, you know, cut the gangrenous limb and, you know, move forward. So I'm not worried about it at all for you. It's just a matter of like, I see you in the annoyance, and you can move forward in a way that feels a lot better, you know, knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and, you know, just don't let people who are sitting in shit make you smell too by dragging you into it. So it's that kind of a dream, like watching watching how much you actually let it affect you, because it really doesn't at the end of the day. But I'm happy for you. I hope you enjoy your beautiful vacation as well. That sounds so nice. Hopefully you're somewhere warm, or at least just enjoyable. And then I'm going to pivot over to Guy in a moment here. Let me see. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, I love this. Okay, let me pull up your chart. And I will send you an email, Tina, as well. Florida, yes, I love that. I actually have a couple friends, different friends, like not even together, that were in West Palm Beach. So it's so funny. And my grandfather actually lived in Jupiter for a while and was a fisherman down there, Cancer sun. So makes sense. Hi, Rachel. How are you? It's nice to see you. Happy birthday to Noah. I forgot that him and Greg were so close too, which is so sweet. I hope you had an enjoyable day and that it was as smooth and enjoyable and you were in your light bubble. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. Yes. And then we'll start. Guy, are you ready now? Because I'll start you a little bit early. Give me the thumbs up, and then we'll go ahead here to talk about career. I'm using the live as mutually. Oh, I love that. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so we are at minute 59:38. So I would love to look at career. Lately, I've been feeling pulled away from nursing, and I'm looking for clarity. So it's funny because in my mind, I'm like, oh, but I never thought you were going to stay there anyway. Like, I didn't know that, like, nursing was, like, a long-term plan. Also, as a projector, like, your environment is everything to you. Just have to do a little activity puzzle. Your environment. Oh, it's a land. There you go. I get a lot of healthcare folks too, and statistically, it does kind of make sense because it is such a large profession and so many different arenas. But yeah, I never felt like that was never going to be the end all be all. With your placements too, like, you have a defined ego center in human design, which only 30% of the population has. So it gives you a little bit more of a natural boost and motivating factor to be able to figure out what you want to do for your own business. Now, throughout your 20s, I always say, like, allow yourself to just, like, figure out what you want to do and get as much intel as you possibly can. For, like, your Aquarius moon is going to love, like, what's the system? And then these are all the things that I know. And healthcare in some capacity is always something that you can go back to. Like, your schooling, hi Katie, never really leaves you in that way. You know, even if you go on to say, you know, you have the certification, something, if you don't have to renew it in some capacity, like home health aid or something that you're like, if push came to shove, like, I could figure it out. What I also want to mention that just caught my attention as well in your chart is that you're a triple split definition in human design. Hi, gorgeous. So talking to it's like ask three then me is what teachers usually say. It's like ask three people, myself being one of them, and then come back to yourself, which also helps you to wait out your emotional wave to say, like, I've consulted three people about this topic. I've gotten the intel. They've created some definition to help me make sure that all of my moving parts or my three ecosystems of voices in my head are connecting. And then I ground in making a decision. So especially as you're going through a nodal opposition, as our north node is in Pisces and our south node is in Virgo, right? That's aspecting your north and south node right now. You're experiencing that back and forth of, like, what is the community that I actually feel comfortable in? So for you, it's like, okay, when I really look again at my environment as a projector, because your environment is so important, a lot of people are moving out of the HC community, or NURSEing, because the systems don't have your back. So it's like, you may love the relationship you have with your patients, or the area if you're in like a NICU or, you know, whatever, or you're with the like elderly, like there may be a population that you really love, but that it's an environment that is not conducive to your success energetically, which sucks, because you're like, if we could just cut out the middleman, this would actually be amazing. You know, and there's only so many things that I can say about that umbrella on this portal, unfortunately, but I know especially those of you that are in it, like, you know enough to just be like, okay, I know that this is the reality of the situation, and I don't like it, but it's like finding the level or the threshold of, like, how you can compartmentalize it in your mind. Yeah, I know. They don't even hide the fact that they're using us anymore. 1,000%. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I blocked your comment too, Rachel. Yeah, exactly what Rachel said. I can't read it out loud just because I want to be able to still have a portal to talk with you guys to help you. But yes. And I mean, you're not wrong for how you feel, for one. I think it's a matter of how can you make it sustainable for yourself to leave knowing that you can make money in a way that works for you. Even if we just watched the new movie yesterday, the Jurassic Park Rebirth, and even the stuff they talk about there is a metaphor for the whole system as it is right now. Like even within that, it's like art imitates life, life imitates art in that way. And so we know this, right? Now we figure out, okay, is there a way that I can compartmentalize this for now that allows me to say, I don't fully enjoy this, but it's more, yes, Afro, I love that. But it's more important for me to connect with my people. Yeah. Because the beds need to be a certain amount full so that it's a business, the business of health, not prioritization of, yeah. So it's unfortunate. But again, because we know this, we get to decide, is my relationship as Guy with my patients more important than, sticking it to you-know-who in that way? I think you're at a crossroads to me where it's like you still need a little bit more information about what you're going to be doing. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that. To create your own structure. You're also an an unconscious gate 5 in human design. So you're still learning really until after your Saturn return what your ideal schedule is going to look like. My cousin, who also is a Sagittarius, I also have a sneaking suspicion may be a projector, but she has yet to get me her birth time. But she is on a 3-week trip out in like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and that whole area, and went down to per diem. She still lives at home, so it works out for her where she can do that. Where if you're at least per diem, you only have to work 2 to 3 shifts per pay period. So 2 to 3 weeks. Yes, it really is 2 to 3 weeks to keep your job there. So I don't know if that's what you're doing now or if that's a possibility to just give you a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, exactly. It's her job, and also like she's not paying a mortgage or rent, so that also helps things too. When you take that out of the equation. But what I also would suggest for you, Guy, just to kind of get grounded in the basics, is really looking at like, what is the true amount of money that you need right now to cover all your expenses? Like as is. What happens, and where I see people get themselves so fucked up, for lack of a better way to say it, when they're first starting out, is that you write these manifestation lists based on what you want to get to be the first, well, in your case, probably not, but the first millionaire in your family. Maybe the first ethical billionaire. I don't know, right? For you, Guy. Because you talked about your family lineage a little bit, but all that to say, like, how you can move forward in a way that allows you to know that, like, you have got yourself covered based on what your actual expenses are now. So you don't need to start off by saying, like, I want to be the first millionaire in my family, and I want to make, it's $4,000 a month to make $100,000 a year, like whatever that's not the math, but whatever it is to make, $100,000 a year, $10,000 a month, whatever. It's starting off by realizing what you actually need to make to cover your bills now. So that's a more practical approach, where everyone else on the internet that's talking about work, your dream life, it's like a lot of the, like, it's a version of like multi-level marketing for setting people up for the $10,000 course that they want you to pay for, and then you spend 10 years of your life trying to make up the money that you lost in that program. So, all that to say, hello, Gilbert, really allowing yourself to say, where can I start to take my career a little bit more seriously that I'm building as an entrepreneur? And what does that look like? Maybe you do some sort of, like, it's so funny because I also see you doing some sort of like, almost like events, what's like for the people that are in like long-term care facilities, like when they have the coordinator that will go in and like do different like music, like an events coordinator. Hi, Nick, welcome. Those kinds of things. That just give you a little bit more flexibility. I feel like if you have the opportunity to not have people breathing down your neck, you don't really need that. Maybe you also pivot if you wanted to do something where you provided like end of life care or a death doula, or postpartum, like something along those lines where it's a little bit more like working one-on-one case, like a patient to patient basis. You also have 2-4 profiles. So like your network really is your net worth, and figuring out, like, when I really look at my relationship to nursing, my relationship to my career. What are some ways that I can recompartmentalize, reprioritize the things in my life to know where I'm truly going to make some moves come January? It's going to take a little bit more pressure, let some steam out of the valve, and allow yourself to think about it more critically for where you can go and say, okay. And also, we're adults now. It means that we have to do things a little bit tired. I know it sucks, and I wish that there was a way. Yes, oh, good night, Rachel. Sounds good. I'll probably going to get off in about like 20 minutes or so, but I will be back on next week again. I have spots already open for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for your Patreon complimentary one too. So if you want to book ahead of time. But yeah, Guy, like allowing yourself to, thank you, Orion, allowing yourself to just not feel the rush. Yeah. And that's what it's normal for like being a projector and being on your feet for like, if you're working the 4 shifts, 12-hour days, it's a lot. But it really is like, I did the same thing. There's no way to outsmart, because what happens is that it's a fear of being more exhausted than you already are when you're at your breaking point, which creates analysis paralysis, where you feel like you can't get out of this hole, which becomes more depressing and therefore more paralyzing. But if you take that, it's such a micro moment, and you're going to look back when you're, moving down your path and you're in your, 3 years from now, and you're like, oh my God, I remember that conversation with Brenna. I can't believe we even talked about like that. I feel so silly. It is so much more subtle than you think that it is. It isn't like this, like, oh my God, like I'm doing this now and I have so much energy. It's like there are a couple times where you're building the new habit that it is going to be exhausting, but that satisfaction that you get from being efficient and taking the time to strategize and know exactly what you have to do to build the momentum in the right direction is what helps with that. Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, I'm full-time working on my BSN. Yeah, I'm taking 6 classes. Yeah, that's like insane. So it's like maybe even just allowing yourself to say, okay, when I finish my classes, finish your BSN, what does that look like? Yeah, absolutely. And allowing yourself to say like, I'm grounded in knowing that I'm making the right decisions, and I maybe just want to see things through to completion. I knew so I went to community college for 2 years and got my associates, and then I transferred to a 4-year college and was like art history. Like I loved arts, music, and I still do, but I'm a creative person. And and I'm going to end with you in a second so I can pivot over. Who's next? I have, beautiful Anna, yes. But essentially, I knew before I graduated that I didn't want to get my master's in art history. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I allowed myself to just know that I didn't want to work in a library. So I worked like a little lobster shack job, which I always wanted to do. I wanted like a cute, like Jersey Shore, like little lobster place. I was literally like under a bridge, on a river next to the ocean, blah, blah, blah. And February was when I got my first like big girl job after I graduated. And I just allowed myself to like cosplay that life for a little while. And I really think your 20s are a major time to do that. But allow yourself to like, if you're so close to finishing your bachelor's, like finish it strong. Nobody can take that degree away from you, and know that like you're still allowed to pivot. And that is good information, because I also have a feeling that it's going to come in handy when people are looking to hire people that have your degree independently, because it's going to be more affordable at some point to have independent care than it is to go into the type of workplace that both you and Dylan are in right now. That's my intuitive hunch with that. So being able to lean into that, I will tell you that for sure. So I'm in the US, Gilbert. Where are you from? My guess is that you're bilingual. But I feel for you, Guy. Anna, who I'm about to pivot over to, beautiful Anna, is also a projector just like you. So, not feelings that all projectors feel in some capacity. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you booking with me. So thank you. Peru, I love that. I met a woman from Peru as well, this weekend, actually. Yeah, girl. Oh, okay. So Anna, yes, let me write down. No, I didn't write down your time. So we are at 113. Lucky number 15. Beautiful feminine 15. 13. So, 15. Yes. It's so funny because I just had a minute. Oh, I love that. Yes, absolutely. Well, it's hard for you projectors. Like, it's like you are so sensitive, and it's like you have to be like Anna, right? Beautiful projectors, of like being willing to be on the forefront of actually changing, or else what's going to happen is you're going to be really bitter, and it's going to push out into everybody else, and then no one wants to listen to you because it's the cycle of like, you put a bad taste in my mouth, I feel your bitterness. Like, that's not my problem. Like, we're all adults here that have to be willing to prioritize your projector energy. If you don't be bitter, be better. You know, like, that's always my saying for you guys, and leaning into that. Now, what happens, like Anna here, is that like, not the overwhelm is normal. And I'm not saying that. I feel like for you specifically, Anna, it's like turning that down. Hi, Ronaldo. Tuning it down a little bit, where, you know, the sickness is what happens when you're going too much in a direction that isn't meant for you, especially as a splenic projector. Thank you. The splenic projector, it's literally the immune system, the spleen. So when your spleen is ruling your authority, it's like you've probably had to make more decisions at work, or other people, you know, pulled you in a lot of different directions, where you're still in the process of your human design experiment and saying, hey, I don't want to be treated that way. I deserve to be spoken to better. Oh, Brazil, welcome. Thank you, Ronaldo. You know, and that's, I know, you're like, and it's like, you can feel it. Once it starts, you're like, I knew better, you know, I'm going this direction. Like, you can feel it. And then it's like the bitterness cycle, you know, and again, figuring out, because you guys are smart as projectors, it's a matter of refining. Like, when I really allow myself to not get so worked up. Hi, Kari, thank you. Oh, thank you, Ronaldo. That's when I can actually get clarity. And you kind of have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of your overwhelm, because that's what happened to me too. Like, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, and my therapist looked at me and was like, you need to either get your holistic treatment seriously, or I'm putting you on medication. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Because I also knew that it was like unnecessary, and that I intuitively, because 2 out of my 3 channels are projector-like channels, I was doing it to myself. But because my environment was not conducive to peace at the time, I knew that I needed to get my own apartment. I got the 9-to-5 job to be able to just start there, right? And so when you know the angles, which I know that you know, Anna, like, where are these areas of suffering, it's like having to build up the thicker skin and the protective barrier that you do have over your spleen. It's like shining that shield of armor that's like, you know what, like, spleen, I've really let you down, because I always say areas of definition are like, we have little shields of armor protecting those centers, and where have you let it go? Hi, Golden, thank you. Welcome, Jennifer. And so we're shining it, and we say, oh, okay, I see myself again in my shiny armor, my chrome armor. How can I reflect to the world, like, how this armor needs to be there? Now, when you're sick, it's like health takes priority. So anything that you have to do to feel better, saying no to plans, oh, I love that. Oh, amazing, Ronaldo. Being able to put buffers and boundaries on what you say yes to, it's less is more for the month of November and December. Like, a lot of the energy just from what I've been channeling. Lee Harris is another channel that I love, you know, just being able to pay attention to your body really keeping score. If Thanksgiving has a little bit more quieter, all you have to do is go downstairs, let it be that, you know, like, don't make yourself feel like you have to run yourself ragged for anybody to hit this perfectionism moving target standard of, like, you know, I think a big part of it is like allowing people to be disappointed in you. And because what's happening is that you're disappointing yourself first, and okay with pleasing other people at the expense of yourself and your energy. And it's not something that you weren't aware of, but there's probably been a lot of like just going with the motions that we start to like not even do these things consciously, but rather like, you know, it just comes up with the, oh, I just saw Afro's tone too. Oh, I love that, Ronaldo. That's beautiful. Yeah, just giving yourself some more grace to like get it right. Like, there's, you know, not that you've been necessarily getting it wrong, you know, but like you just having that ability to really say like, you know, it's okay. Nothing's going to explode if I disappoint this person. Does this person, if especially your boss, right? Like, your boss is a really big personality, and I think that there's a lot of beautiful granny that like there's a familiarity in terms of the intensity of like that I'm not maybe saying anything right now, but it's like the look of disapproval that just feels so uncomfortable. And once you make friends with like knowing that like that's your boss, right? And like you can, you know, do the things to make your life more enjoyable so that like you're not dealing with somebody who's totally miserable, but also like it's not your responsibility to make her happy. Even if you know what it would take to make her day brighter, if you're pouring out from a deficit rather than an overflow, it's going to keep you sick, like for a long time, you know, especially during the winter time. Like we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to be able to boost our immune system. And that's where it's like your spleen is like, hey, like remember me. And what's hard about the spleen is that it's only a strong urge that tells you one time. The spleen doesn't repeat itself over and over again. It just starts to kind of like chip away and peter out like a fire, where it's like, okay, now we're just embers, and now it's like that's, and we see the smoke, and then you're like, shit, like now I need more logs, and like you realize that it's burned way too low, and you need to start the whole process again. So, you know, this is a moment of like this feeling so intense for you is I'm from New Jersey. This is the ability to kind of pivot and say like, ooh, now's the moment where I need to shift in the other direction, to be able to go in that way appropriately. So leaning into that is important. Yeah, it just feels like there's a next layer kind of cracked open for you, Anna, about like allowing yourself to feel the disappointment or disapproval when you know that you're doing something right. And sitting in that discomfort is going to get you so much farther than feeling like you are stuck in this perpetual loop of people pleasing. And I think that the way that I've described it, you're welcome, Ronaldo, the way that I've described it is more appropriate than like, yeah, we may hear like people pleasing and understand, but I think it's also so nuanced in like the way that we have all maybe do or did in the past go through the levels of people pleasing. Like I now am like, I'm not a people pleaser. I can make people comfortable, but everything is still very much so within my boundaries of how I know that I'm showing up first, and I'm moving forward in that direction. But like if somebody makes me uncomfortable, says something out of line, is rude, doesn't know proper etiquette, there's a hard line there. And you know, I am like saying it from a place of like, hey, you're embarrassing yourself. This isn't cool. Like it's tone deaf. Let's get a little bit more clarity. And that's how we can go ahead moving forward in a much more direct way. Now, of course, to your boss, you're not going to say it exactly like that, but like the tone is like, you can give them a look back just like the other look, or just, you know, I know that your emergency, it doesn't have to become my priority because you didn't tend to something. So yeah. And again, it's like every time you do it, it's flexing the muscle of making yourself more comfortable in doing that, especially as a projector, where you're allowing yourself to say like, okay, I'm allowed, I can feel safe, especially as a Libra. Like if something's uncomfortable, like you want to balance the scales, you want things to be harmonious. But again, it's like it can't be at the expense of yourself and your suffering. And I think like, you know, like any good Libra, you're going to know when to be a diplomat even more than I am, because I don't have an ounce of Libra in me, but really being able to say like, okay, I know it needs to happen for all parties to be happy here, and I'm not further extending too much in any wrong direction, is what's going to help make you feel a lot more grounded than you do right now. And it's also what's going to give you your health back in a lot of ways too, that doesn't feel as uncomfortable and overwhelming. So allowing yourself to have that. Let me know if that brought up any follow-up questions for you too. I feel bad for hubby as well, but you know, allowing yourself to just be like, oh, this is a time to just relax. Like I had a couple hours yesterday of just like downtime because I really needed it in between, you know, everything else that I'm doing, and I have an event tomorrow. And so I was like, let me figure out like what's like a craft or something that I haven't done, because I love to be creative. And I went to this thrift store with my husband before we got married, and got a bunch of old scrapbooks that were like $1, $3, because like I love scrapbooking and collaging. And so for 2 hours yesterday, I'd actually printed out pictures from CVS, and for like 2 hours I like put together some pages in the scrapbook. I had like the key card from the hotel we stayed at for my bachelorette, a little receipt from one of the places that we went shopping at, and I put that all like in the scrapbook. And it just felt good to do something with my hands again, and especially this time of year, like I was saying at the beginning of this live, Anna, that I miss like just, I want to make like the felt ornaments and do all like the cutesy like Christmas stuff that's like actually giving people gifts that they need. I was filming another week 6, like week in my life, human design experiment vlog style video that'll go out next week. Oh, I love that. Yes, absolutely. Your little nook. Doing things like that, I think will just help you to be like, it doesn't always have to be this fucking serious. Cause I know you and I take life very seriously. And we can have fun. And I think you even more so than me, I would argue. But like the ability to just kind of relax and say like, oh, like I can enjoy this. And I watched a movie with my husband and I did a little bit of collaging, like just having that check-in with myself to be like, okay, it's the end of the 2025. Like what can we do to just enjoy the fruits of our labor? Also coming off of a very packed winter, summer, fall season for a lot of people. So yeah, absolutely. Semi-frappe and paint. Yeah, exactly. There's no such thing as not being able to paint. I actually was looking, there's a very old, interview that I did when I was in community college, actually. So I was like 19 or 20. That will be on like the local news channel. My dad will send me it every time and again when he sees it. And I was looking at, my dad asked me to look up photos of one of his best friends that passed away when he was younger. And so I was looking through my dad and I's like friendship on Facebook, and it was funny because I had thought of that artist and we did like an abstract like group project, which was a lot of fun. And you have to, it's like people who, like in group settings, like if I am not somebody that's like, it's like an art project. Like we did this at like a community college, like something that's fun. Like I'm type A in a lot of ways for the standards I hold myself to, but I don't expect myself out of other people. Signs of differentiation. And so it was funny because I looked up that artist today. His name is Martin Kamler. And I was like, oh, like I haven't seen him in a while. And the last time he posted was a year ago today, actually, which is funny because he had a show a year ago tomorrow that had come out in like a group show. So just like another random thing, but you know, it can be abstract, it can be fun, and just allowing yourself to experiment. And I think that's exactly the end of the message for you too, Anna, is like, it doesn't have to be so serious. Like, what's the next concert you have on the horizon? Like my grandmother, who is a beautiful Libra, October, I always mix up the 3rd or the 5th for her, but October 3rd or 5th Libra, first week of October 5th. She was always like, you always need to have something on the horizon. You always need to have fun. Oh, thank you, Orion. It was actually my other grandma, but not Grandma Rose, but my other grandma, Patricia was her name. And but grandmother nonetheless. And she always said, you always need to have something on the horizon. She went to the Dominican Republic, funny enough, 3 times a year. And the other 3 times a year, she went to Ireland with my step-grandpa, so who actually just passed not that long ago. I love that. Yes. I always say spirit side and real life. I always get a lot of Libras. So I love a good Libra. Super chatty, like beautiful Anna. But like also just very like can be very balanced in a lot of ways. But when the scales are unbalanced, like you feel that shit. You and everybody around you. So it's hard. And I think Anna, like you also haven't been like only recently in your life have you been allowed to express that as well as a part of your personality, where like you're also allowed to be like, hey, like I need help, instead of always being, yeah, that's right, I don't know, oh my god, yes, instead of always being the one that like has to come in and deal with the crises too. Like this is kind of the first time where you could be like, hey husband, like I need help here, or have more of that support. So I'm happy that you're able to receive it too. But I'll be on for another 4 minutes and then I will hop off to send some emails to my folks that got our reading. So Ashton, Blanca, Tina, Guy, and Anna, thank you so much. And then let me know if there's any questions before I hop off in a few minutes. Yeah, relaxation times, I like that. Hi ho, welcome. I know it's so funny because I just saw someone comment, I forget what it was. I have to go back and look at the video, but like all of the, I don't know if you guys ever seen like the newscaster compilations where they say like names wrong. The guy, it was one of the people that they had said the names wrong because like they put it on a teleprompter. It's crazy. Hi, Dylan. Yeah, absolutely. It was nice to meet you, Dylan. I'm glad you were here. So essentially what I do is a version of astrology. Oh, good, Orion, have fun. Is I do a version of astrology called Human Design, but I'm also a psychic intuitive. So I'll pick up on a lot of the energies. And usually I always say when I'm reading for people, there's like some sort of collective shared trait, you know, like you going through the same thing as Guy and working in the same industry and having those kind of, you know, similarities and synchronicities essentially. So hi Adonis. Oh, hello and goodbye. I'm gonna be on for 3 more minutes and then I'm hopping off tonight a little bit early. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. I'm screenshotting that. I know I love being here, and I'm very big on hosting. Like, I think the art of hosting is something that's lost. So like a little behind the scenes, like for like live etiquette is that like as soon as I see somebody coming in, like you think about this, like when you walk into a store and you know, you're one of a handful of people that have come in, especially consistently, like for my regulars. And if you don't say hi to a regular, how weird does that feel, like walking into your coffee shop where it's like, I see you all the time. Like, why wouldn't I acknowledge you? I translate that same energy into my lives, and I've always been that way. Where I'm very like, that's such an important lost art that like I have seen, because frankly as well, I understand people are overworked and underpaid, but it's like that me choosing, say, the coffee shop job or when I was in those positions is not that person's problem. And what healthcare will also help you teach is like how to compartmentalize that. Like if someone just yelled at me 10 minutes ago, that's not Afro's problem. That's not Katie's problem. That's not Anna's problem. That's not Adonis's problem. It's like being able to shift in that way. And that's really like a value of mine, is like making people know that they're seen and appreciated and acknowledged is a big thing. And respect is a huge thing for me. I love my people to feel respected, and I love to feel that respect reciprocated, which I'm very grateful that all of you guys do that are here. So, you know, any type of lack of disrespect, which is very, I mean, you guys know, like I'm kind, but like I'm a Pisces and I got a lot of Scorpio, I'm Aquarius, Mercury, like you want to go, you know, I will address it very quickly, but it's like, I address it for the ending, not for, there's no, not in my house. Not with my people. My people don't deserve that. They deserve something better. So again, like I said to Tina earlier, unless you're getting paid for drama on your live, or if that's what your shtick is on reality TV, there's no other reason to let other people take away your power, disrespect you, or take away your peace in any capacity. Not in our house. So that I'm very big on that, for keeping the space sane and sacred for my people too. In a place that isn't always sane and sacred, aka the world right now. But there are pockets, and I pride myself in being one of them. That's obviously very important to me. So thank you for saying that. But I love to you guys. I hope you have a beautiful rest